Greetings and welcome to my Friday ramblings. This is a little bit later on Friday, but I have to assure you, it's still Friday. This weekend we celebrate the feast of Christ the King. Unfortunately, we don't have, in Australia at least, a feast for Christ the priest. Now, in my researching for this Sunday's homily, I found that in fact, in 1989, the Congregation for the Doctrine and Faith had promulgated that the Feast of Christ the Priest was a feast day. It was designated as the Thursday after Pentecost. In 2000 and I think 12, please don't quote me on that, the dicastery also suggested that if dioceses or conferences of bishops wish to apply for that date, then the date would be included in the calendar of that congregation or that confraternity of bishops. So at this particular stage, the Australian bishops don't have a feast day for Christ the priest, and so we as a parish have designated the feast of Christ the King as being as close as we as a parish can have to Christ the priest. So this Sunday we have a fairly big celebration. We have only the one mass, which is an unusual situation for us. Normally we have our three masses, and on the fourth Sunday of the month, four masses. But this weekend we have just the one mass at 11 a.m. Now, the reason we did that was to ensure that the people at 6 p.m. on Saturday evening, 8:30 at Snug, and 10 a.m. at Christ the Priest couldn't say that they were preferred over everybody else. So we have the one mass, and that will be followed by lunch in the Sisters of Charity Centre, which is adjacent to the school and the church. This week has been an interesting week. On Monday, I had a funeral. It wasn't a parishioner, but it's a reminder to us of the situation in our church in Hobart is that not many people know older Hobartians. And that's a little bit sad and something that we really can't do a lot about because it's just the reality. So the family knew me when I was a priest 40 years ago in the cathedral and working at St. Mary's College, which is adjacent to the cathedral. And the daughters were all at school when I was there in the parish. And the mother, Nina, had known me then and has met me on numerous occasions since. But in fact, it was just that occasion that none of the clergy at the moment were in fact known to the family as they are much older and the children have moved away. That's that's a reality that is part of our church, and we can't deny it. It's something that we have to remember and strive to do something about. And as I said, there's no easy answer to that. During the week, I also spent time with a family who had lost their loved one, a husband of over 50 years. And so that also was a sad moment. On Tuesday night, I had the great privilege of being able to share on Tuesday, I had a great privilege to be able to share the time with my friend Father Terry Rush, who was awarded a Guildford Young Medal as for his achievements and for his participation in the life of the diocese in the over 52 years since he arrived here. I was able to enjoy a meal on Tuesday night with his brother and sister, who made the trip down to celebrate with him. Um, we They went to D'Angelo's on Tuesday night, and when his brother arrived, one of the owners of D'Angelo's looked at him and said, "I knew who you were when you got out of the car." And so obviously there was a family resemblance, and that was wonderful to think about and to talk about. Today, I celebrated last rites with another friend. Now, before you think that that's a little bit sad, Last Rights is in fact a brewery that lives in the parish community. I suspect I've mentioned it before, and one of a priest friend of mine and we and I, a priest friend and I went there for Friday afternoon just to have a quiet drink and a quiet meal before I came home. This weekend, as I said, we've got the Feast of Christ the Priest, Christ the King, and we will be celebrating that on Sunday. So this weekend, in one sense, is a quieter weekend with only the one celebration, but it's a great weekend as well. This is called Friday Ramblings, and I suspect because of having a meal this evening, I might be rambling a little bit more than usual, but that's okay because it's Friday and we're celebrating the end of a wonderful week, looking forward to a great weekend. I hope your weekend is good, hope your weekend is great, and that you have a chance to recreate and reconnect with those you love. God bless you, and I'll see you next Friday on my Friday Ramblings.